Welcome to week 11, reading 1 for Arctic animals. Key vocabulary, words you might need to know. I'd like you to have a look through these three words, the blue, the red and the green. Our first word, I'd like you to break it up. Camouflaged. And this means to hide or disguise the presence of, in this case, an animal by means of camouflage. I'd like you to use your wider knowledge here. What animals do you know that camouflage? Why do they camouflage? And particularly for our Arctic animals, what is their special feature that helps them to camouflage? Red word, scavenge. Now on either Wednesday or Friday you completed a scavenger hunt with your class, and this means to search for and collect things. So what animal do you think of if I was to say a scavenger? I think of a fox. You might think of something different. What are they searching for and why might they be collecting things? The wingspan. This is quite a tricky definition today, but it means something very simple. So we're going to read it and then we're going to break it down. The maximum extent across the wings of an aircraft, a bird or other flying animal, measured from tip to tip. So obviously we're going to be focused specifically on a bird or other flying animal. So basically what it means is their wings are nice and wide, and it means from one tip of the wings to the other as well. So here we have our first two pieces of reading. Today we're going to look at 4 Arctic animals in total. Let's go for our snowy owl. Snowy owls nest in the Arctic tundra of the northernmost stretches of Alaska, Canada and Eurasia. Now what I want you to think of here, if you're not sure where those places are, I want you to have a look on your map. Now northernmost means situated furthest to the north. So in the north, they are the top of the north, the furthest north, and our Arctic tundra basically means an area where growth is really difficult because the geography of the area means there's a short growing season and there are low temperatures as well. Has long cold winters, short cool summers, very low precipitation, which means low rain, and a dry wind. So these conditions make the Arctic tundra a bit like a desert climate. Snowy owls measure between 50 and 70 centimetres, so basically 2 of our George Spicer rulers on top of each other. They have a wingspan of between 1.3 and 1.5 metres. Unlike most animals, the snowy owl is nocturnal and diurnal, which is a word that I've not really heard of before, to be honest. This means as well as being active at night, they are also active and hunt during the daytime. So basically, they're hunting all of the time. They're making any opportunity that they have for food. They're taking all of those opportunities. Did you know snowy owls are often found in airports as it reminds them of the wide open space of the tundra? So here, this tells us as a random fact, did you know? The narwhal whale, which is a bit of a tongue twister. The narwhal is a medium-sized toothed whale that lives in the Arctic. They can live to be up to 50 years old. It has a long tusk which can measure up to 3.1 metres. And there's a did you know at the bottom that I'm going to read next. It says the male narwhal uses their long tusk to duel in the summer feeding ground. Now what does the word duel mean? It makes me think of a magician here. So I'm almost picturing, I'm visualising the narwhal using its tusk like a wizard's wand and dueling. But what would they be dueling for? It says the summer feeding ground. So use your knowledge here. It has a long tusk which can measure up to 3.1 metres. So 3 of our metre sticks on top of each other. So that's very long. A narwhal can measure between 4 metres and 5.5 metres and weighs between 800 and 1,600 kilograms. Arctic fox. The Arctic fox will eat any small animals such as lemmings and voles. If food is scarce, the fox will scavenge leftovers from other animals such as the polar bear. So the word I need to clarify here is scarce. It's quite a tricky word actually. Does it mean there is not a lot of food or there is a lot of food? You can substitute that into the sentence, so by saying if there is not a lot of food, the fox will scavenge leftovers. If there is a lot of food, the fox will scavenge leftovers. Which one makes more sense? Now I think if there wasn't a lot of food, you would scavenge for leftovers. So I think scarce means not a lot of something left, very little. An Arctic fox can weigh between 3 and 8 kilograms and measures between 46 and 68 centimetres, so it's very small, and we can see this from the illustration. Arctic foxes have a thick, warm coat which is brown in summer and white in winter. This means they are camouflaged all year. Did you know the fox's thick tail is very useful as a warm cover in cold weather and also helps with balance? Now, our final piece of reading today is on the Arctic hare. Just have a look at the illustration for a second. What does a hare remind you of? Yeah, it does me too. It reminds me of a rabbit. So what makes a hare and a rabbit different? What are the features of them both? I'd like you to have a think about that. The Arctic hare lives on the rocky slopes and upland tundra of the Arctic. It can run up to 40 miles per hour. An Arctic hare can weigh between 2.5 and 5.5 kilograms and measures between 40 to 70 centimetres. It has a pure white coat. What does the word pure white coat mean? Sorry, the phrase pure white coat. Good, it means there's no other colours, completely white in winter and a brown coat during summertime. This helps to keep the hare camouflaged and helps to protect it during both seasons. What's different about it saying both seasons? How many seasons do we experience? Good, so we have 4 seasons: autumn, winter, spring and summer. So I wonder, this is for you to think about what seasons they have in the Arctic. Did you know the Arctic hare's ears are small to help keep the hare warm during cold winters? So today we have 8 questions. We have a mixture of what, where, why and find and match questions. We've even got a how. We've got it all going on today. So, what do male narwhals use their tusks for? Go back to the text and have a look. So I'm looking for the what, the reason. Where do snowy owls rest? Where means the place. Find the word that is the same as hillside. You have to think about this one, about what piece of text you need to look back to specifically. What animal did they talk about living on anywhere like a hillside? Question 4. Why does an Arctic fox have a thick tail? So we're looking for a reason. Question 5. Why do you think an Arctic hare needs to be camouflaged with its snowy environment? This is also a reason, so I think that. Question 6. Why does an Arctic fox sometimes scavenge for food? So also another reason question. Question 7. How old can a narwhal live up to? So I'm looking for the age, how old. And question 8. Match the correct sentence with the Arctic animal. So an Arctic fox. Which one of the 3 statements on the right is true for an Arctic fox? And match them up. I hope this video has been helpful for you today. Stay tuned for part 2.